Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Oakland Mills Community Association Village Board meeting. We're going to get started with a couple of administrative items. First, we need to approve the minutes from the March 22nd board meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Ginny. Is there a second? I have a second from Lynn. Is there any discussion of those minutes? All right, all in favor?
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4-0-0, Amy. Next, we need a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion from Ginny. Is there a second? A second from Rebecca. All right, any discussion of tonight's agenda? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4-0-0. Okay, we are underway. First up on the agenda is resident remarks. If you would like to make remarks to the board, please use the hand raising feature on Zoom. I'll call on you in the order I see you, and you will have 3 minutes to make remarks. Would anyone like to make remarks? Okay, we have a huge crowd out there. I thought people would be lined up, but I guess I think everyone's outside enjoying the weather tonight. We're all crazy. All right, moving right on from resident remarks, we're going to go right into new business. We have 15 minutes to discuss.
I'll pull it up, Jonathan.
Okay, we have 15 minutes to discuss the donations. If we go back to what we agreed upon last time, there are kind of two categories of donation requests. One is a group of donation requests that we received by the original October 15th deadline that we didn't fully fund, or in at least one case didn't fund at all, that get automatic reconsideration because they already met all the criteria for requesting a donation from us. And then we have the new batch that we opened up to new consideration after we received the third quarter financials and saw that we were in much better financial shape than we thought we might be in when we started the year. So Sandy has broken them out by old and by new. And the way I would like to proceed, this is all under new business, but we do, since we already considered the donations from October, we could, if we wanted to, make decisions on those tonight. Even if we don't make decisions on those tonight, I'd like to go through them and give them first consideration since they were in by our original October 15th deadline. So the three that we did not fully fund when the request came in back in October were Oakland Mills United. We gave them $550 toward their $688 request for, I believe it was IT equipment. I think it was a laptop computer. And Oakland Mills Online also submitted a $2,000 request, I believe mainly for IT equipment. We gave them $500 at the time. The middle school PTSA and the Stevens Forest Elementary School PTSA, we fully funded their requests, so they are done. And Battle of the Books did not come in as a valid request, so we will treat them as a new request this time around. And then the final one we got by the deadline was Grassroots, just asking for any help we could provide. They didn't specify an amount, so we tabled that one until the final quarter of the fiscal year. So is there any preliminary discussion or questions about the organizations we didn't fully fund in the first go round of donation request?
Did Grassroots provide more information? Oh wait, I know that
packet. They didn't give a dollar amount in the letter I got today. I didn't compare it to the letter from the fall. They talked about the students and families that they help that go to our public schools. They had 100 school-related calls to Grassroots. More than 57% of their crisis team calls were because of students exhibiting suicidal ideation. Intervention is the key. So they just are asking pretty much, most of the organizations probably got this letter to make a gift this year. Their children are counting on you. So I'm probably sure this year they've pretty much had to service more than any one number in previous years, just based on what's going on. And probably that number will just continue to grow.
And by the way, I'm going to say it for the record, just because it makes the minutes, because a question came up in last month's education committee meeting. There's this misconception that we have a $500 limit on donations. And I think that comes from years ago when we just automatically gave each school $500 and those were our donations. We didn't open it up for requests to different organizations. If you look at our policy, if you look at any of our documents out there, we don't set a limit. We tell people to, request what they feel they need to request, and then we determine what we're able to give them. So I just want to clarify that, because it seems to come up every so often, and it's not. We don't have a limit on the amount of the request. We have a fiduciary responsibility, and we'll limit the amount we give based on what our budget will allow and what we feel we want to give to each organization.
That's actually maybe a better spot to start. How much money do we have? Like, if we're in the third quarter, we don't have a specific number allocated for these donations.
We actually did allocate a donation budget when we set the budget at the beginning of the year, but it was conservative. We're looking at, potentially several $1,000s over cash reserve. Now, some of that we're already investing back into the facilities, but that still leaves us with, a healthy amount of money we could potentially put toward other things. Sandy, do you have the exact figures?
I'm probably about 25,000 conservatively looking, and it could be more. I don't have the exact number, but
and that would just go back to CA.
Yeah, I think there's just a few more things that we might need to purchase in the building based on wanting to have hybrid meetings, some technology, some equipment, but I don't think that'll add up to more than probably $2,000 if I get like a camera installed. And we have the TV, I'm getting it installed, so I had to pay for an electrician and some construction work to mount it, but not probably more than $3,000. And yes, what we have left over after making donations and after the expenses we have would go back to CA, except for we get to keep 20% of our operating expense, anything over that. And then it would probably, it's up to the CA board, go back into the community like we're doing this year.
But we haven't done that. That was an addendum to the thing just for last year, right?
Yeah, so I don't know what the CA board will decide to do this year. I would hope that somehow it still does go back to the villages, but that's just me.
Ginny, is there any talk? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, historically, it hasn't. Last year was the first time it has.
So last year is where it went back to us to be used for something environmental. Is that correct?
Right.
Yes.
And before that, it was never a discussion. It was never even brought up like that.
But the reason for the environmental is in many cases, the environmental helps other areas of Columbia as well.
Helps everybody.
Right.
Yeah, stream, clearing, whatever.
Right.
Jenny, is there any expectation that will happen again this year?
I have no idea. We have an election going on. You don't know who's going to be on the board, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I frankly like the idea of it going to environmental things because we never have enough money for all the stream erosion and flooding, as you know. I would be in favor of it personally.
And I appreciate what CA does. The flaw in it is that last year, and I'm assuming this year, they made the decision after the fiscal year had closed. So like if we knew that going into the close of fiscal year, we could plan better. But we pretty much have to plan to turn the money over to CA and then sort of see what happens. We won't know before our fiscal year ends. And that's the challenge in this.
Well, you could ask, Jonathan,
Yes.
you could ask the new board, which will be sworn in, whatever that date is in May 12th.
Yeah, but we've already given our money back.
That's after the end of the year.
Oh.
So for the villages to plan for it, the current CA board would have to make the decision before April is out. That's
Okay.
the challenge with this.
Okay, I got it. I got it. So on our board meeting there is
Thursday.
April 28th.
Oh,
Yeah, and even that, I mean, even that would be kind of too late, because if we didn't know by our last board meeting, we close out our books at our last board meeting, which is 2 weeks from tonight. So that's
the 26th.
26th. So,
I'd say there's a comfortable $30,000.
yeah,
And
I
there's
mean,
probably more. I just don't want to
unless-
forget something or miscalculate.
Unless we really go wild, I think we're turning some money back to CA.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of how much will it be. So
right.
why don't we come back to the donations at hand? We don't have to decide tonight, but I think we should probably try to get some idea of what ballpark we want to be in, so that we can decide at that last meeting.
Well,
So-
I guess if we don't have, I mean, if we have enough to fund everything, we don't have any reason not to, right? I mean, is there any reason that we should be, other than what Sandy needs, is there any reason that we should? I mean, I know that the fine arts booster is a bit high, and we probably don't want to set that precedence that we give groups that much, but I mean, yeah, do we have any reason that we don't want to?
Well,
No,
I have a couple of concerns, although I'm not seeing it. Oh, the one that I'm concerned about is the interfaith center, because I thought we had a policy that we don't contribute to sectarian groups.
Really?
I don't think we have a policy like that.
I didn't think we
No?
did.
I
No.
thought,
so,
okay.
No, I never heard of
well,
that.
and I guess
I
it
stand
depends on,
corrected.
I mean, I guess the interfaith center itself, I don't know if I would even consider that a sectarian group, because that's a collection of,
Okay, sectarian groups, plural.
yeah, it's not like we're supporting one sect over another. We're supporting that facility. But you raise a valid point. We don't have a policy, but it has come up as a question in the past.
But don't you have to look at what the grant request is? I mean, if it's for hiring priests and rabbis.
And we know what it's for. They've told us what it's for.
We know what it's for.
But what I'm,
I thought it was just a blanket. I would have thought that it's a blanket thing that we didn't do it. If that's not the case, then I stand corrected.
yeah,
No, we don't have anything in the donation policy that says that. If they're a valid 501c3, then we can consider them based on the policy as it's currently written.
and I think, are they willing to work with, do they have built into that application that they're willing to work with the Oakland Mills community?
Yes. There's a lot involved in that application. We haven't gotten there yet. We're not.
I think to that point, I think that aside from do we have enough money to fund everything, is that to really look at the merits of the application. Like I'm more inclined to say yes to someone who has said exactly what they're going to do with it, rather than, oh, we just need money. So
No, I haven't. Theirs is exact. Theirs is very.
I don't mean the interface center. I'm saying all of them. That
Everyone has. Everyone has.
Except for grassroots.
Well, I mean, grassroots hasn't said exactly what they're going to do, but they say it's so they can continue providing their counseling services. They can't say exactly who is going to
Right.
other than the community. So that, they're a little more limited in what they can say, but everyone else has said exactly what they're going to do with it.
Jonathan? Yeah.
And by the way, the fine arts boosters, that 15,005, that's just a roll up of all the things they're trying to fund. They have not asked for that. Their request was, give us what you can toward this, but this is what we're looking at for the next year. They're not asking us to fund the whole thing. They're just saying, give what you can.
Yeah. Jonathan?
Yes, Ginny.
Yeah, I think since some of these are a year old, I guess, we should also look at whether they've actually, already funded that item or items or cause or whatever.
They haven't.
None of them have? Okay.
Well, the only ones we didn't fund last time fully fund last time were OMU, OMO, and grassroots. Grassroots came back and sent us another letter, and OMU and OMO have both told me that they could still, that they would appreciate the reconsideration.
And
Because
that'll,
I told the organizations we didn't fund that they would get automatic reconsideration, and they said thank you. They didn't say no longer needed.
in Battle of the Books, so they've submitted it, plus they haven't received funds.
Yeah, but they don't count. They didn't submit a correct.
I know, but I
application.
didn't
They're
put them
new.
at the bottom. I put them
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah, but that's why I skipped over them. They're new.
Oh, no, I did put them at the bottom here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bless you.
thank you.
So I agree. I think, fully funding the fine arts boosters, even though they didn't ask us to do that, would set a very high precedent. I think I would want to adjust that downward to something we're more comfortable with. So we're not setting that kind of precedent. I think the other, the other school related ones to me seem like reasonable amounts, and they're very specific about what they want to do with those. Can you scroll up again? Now we're jumping all over the place. No, go ahead all the way up to the old. But like I said, first, I think we should, make sure that we're reconsidering the old. So, the question is, do we want to give another $138 to OMU? Do we want to leave it where it was? Do we want to go in between? Same thing for OMO. And then what, if anything, do we want to do for grassroots? Because I'd really like us to have some preliminary idea what we want to do for the people who came in on time. Because remember, no one knew we were going to go and ask for more requests. So we do have some groups here who asked on time and followed our original policy. And like I said, we're not making final decisions tonight. It's new business, but I would like us to have some idea, where we're going with that so that we can wrap the rest up next week and, come to a decision and vote. Because not next week, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now is our last chance.
Well, I'd like to speak to Oakland Mills United. I think we should give them the extra, $100 and whatever, $130.
Okay. 138.
And I'm not sure about a whole other 1,500 to OMO, but I think definitely we should consider doing that. And I think Battle of the Books. So they can have a field trip to Lake Elkhorn. That's really.
Yeah. Well, they're later. They're not new. They're new. They're not old.
Yeah.
But they
other one.
They had the thing in there. Yeah.
They just didn't give us the form.
They
So
just didn't have the 501c.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah. Okay. I'm trying to play fair. We had, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't count. We had 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 5 organizations like completely, follow the policy, follow the rules, got everything incomplete on time. So they're the ones I really think we should think about first. And then everyone else had their second chance. And I think they should, we should see what's left over.
Okay, so those are my two, OMU and OMO. I think we should.
I agree with Lynn. I don't know how much we should give to OMO.
No, I don't either, but definitely more.
Yeah.
How about we kind of, split it in the middle and give them another 500. So we give them half what they asked for.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that. Not that it matters, but I'm comfortable with that.
I think so too.
All right. So
Yeah, that seems fine. I guess I don't know why we wouldn't just give them more. They want to purchase a new laptop, build a new website, and they have been really amazing at the learning opportunities they've provided. I don't know. I'm torn. I don't know about giving them full 2,000, but I don't see why not.
Well, and we're not deciding tonight, so we're basically just penciling in amounts right now, and then we think about it for 2 weeks and vote the final amounts in 2 weeks.
We could also split it. If it's another 1,500, we could give them 750. Sure,
let's pencil that.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we pencil in the additional 138 for OMU? We'll pencil in another 750 for OMO, and everyone will review their application and see if they are still good with that or want to go up higher next time. Middle school is taken care of, Stevens Forest is taken care of, Battle of the Books is later. Grassroots, that's the interesting one because they're really not asking, they're just saying we've provided a lot of help and they sure have, and any help you can provide would be appreciated.
Yeah, that one I'm torn about. It just doesn't tell us what it's for. Like, yes, they provide counseling, but they don't say we need this to, pay our
Right.
counselors or to pay the phone bill or whatever. I have no idea.
Yeah, if they're writing a grant application, they can't just say we need money,
Yeah.
they have to.
I think what they do is send everyone, because every year we get 2 letters from them, but I probably think that it's a letter that goes out to every, organization they can think of to raise money. So they didn't give us specifics, and it doesn't mean that's good or bad. I'm just saying that was the letter. I don't think it was in response. I think the timing hit that we just got it this week, but I don't think it was in response to our solicitation for donations.
Well,
Usually guys, when people apply for grants to Horizon Foundation, the Community Foundation, et cetera, any place, you state specifically what let's say it's a new program, what you want to do and why, et cetera. And therefore you can, I know we don't evaluate people, but at least we'll have an idea of what the money's buying. That's what you usually do. And this is like all over the place.
Okay, let's, why
And
don't
not
we?
just this
again,
one, not just this one. I used to be on the grassroots board.
Yeah.
I'm a supporter of-
We're not deciding, so why don't we table them? We're running out of time on this topic, so why don't we table them for now and move down to the new ones? Like I said, we're just penciling in now, so we'll just pencil tabled in for right now and move on down. So we have the Village and Howard Interfaith Battle of the Books, the direct a donation directly to the middle school, not the PTA. The high school PTSA for after prom, the Talbot Springs Little Library, and then the Fine Arts Boosters at the high school.
Which is the one where they're going to do the garden between the middle school and the high school?
That was the middle school
That's-
principal's request.
I love that idea. I'm a big,
And that is desperately needed. If you've walked between those two buildings lately, it is disgusting.
I think it's just a wonderful idea, and the people involved in doing it, I'm supportive of as well. So I'd say let's fund that one totally.
All right, would everyone be comfortable with penciling in $4.99 to the middle school?
Do
Yes.
I like plants.
we
Okay.
want any criteria, Rebecca, as to what, invasives for, et cetera?
I think they put it in their thing. I
Yeah,
feel like
hold
they
on,
did.
let me find it. I thought that it said something that was.
Yeah, do we really give donations with strings attached, though? I mean, they're asking for money for what they're asking.
No.
Well, if we want to promote environmental issues, we
I
should.
think that was the whole point of it, their thing. Rebecca, are you pulling up the letter?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, I'm pretty sure it
it
was
says
there.
environmentally friendly community building part. Oh, they're partnering with CEI. Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
And the Nourishing Garden program. Maybe I'll help them. I'm doing that program now.
They're doing it with the garden in on Freedom Road, right?
Yes, right. Yeah, that's CEI.
Right.
Free
All right,
cabinet.
$4.99 to the middle school. I'm gonna keep
Can
this
we
moving
make
along.
it 500?
Gone.
Jonathan, can we make it 500?
I'm rounded up to 500, sure.
Thank you.
Rounded up to 5. Okay, so that's the middle school. Actually, while we're in the schools, since any direct donations to the school are covered by the school systems exemption, the other one direct to a school is for the Talbot Springs Little Free Library.
Definitely.
Definitely for that.
And I'll
Okay.
round it up to 658.
You can even round it to 660 if you want.
Okay.
And definitely for Battle of the Books.
Yeah, I would think 250.
Okay, yeah, that's direct to Stevens Forest, so they're covered by the school system.
And the after prom thing, I
Yeah.
would support as well. We don't want kids cruising around.
And that prom is the prom's the 30th. We'll have decided by then.
All right. So pencil in 500 for the Oakland Mills High PTSA. That leaves the Village and Howard, the Interfaith, and the Fine Boosters. Village and Howard have always been great in our community. They operate right out of our neighborhood center, so I would be comfortable with that.
And they want it for providing basically scholarships for people to join, right?
Right.
Oakland Mills residents, yeah.
Oakland Mills residents. They've done this before and we funded it, yeah. All right, so let's pencil in 500 for Village and Howard. So that leaves us the Interfaith Center and the boosters.
Is there any way, Jonathan, the boosters, and I know you know them, can they give us like their priority order or something so that what we're giving them is their most needed? Give us a list of a priority wish list.
Yeah, I mean, they gave us those bullets. I don't know if those bullets were in priority order, but just write back to Lynn and say, if you had to prioritize those items, what would come first?
Okay.
Second, third, they gave us a list, but.
Yeah, I know, but it was hard to figure that out. Yeah.
Also, I could say, oh, I really like uniforms. Let's do uniforms. And that might not be what their big need is.
Yeah.
OMI, the Interfaith Center. I mean, so
I'll go down to their letter.
yeah, they came to Yards Alive to ask if we would support them. And I do want to support them because they're doing good stuff. I'm just not sure about their cost breakdown.
Well, I don't know if you saw my emails. That's where I was really confused because OMI sent one amount and then Bet Aviv, one of the congregations, sent a letter of support, but they did a breakout that came in $400 higher.
Oh,
So I was confused about which one of those were being asked to fund.
Well, can I say something too? In the breakdown we got from OMI, since that was their official one, I don't lie. I'm not a fan of giving money for snacks and food and gifts to an organization. I would like to see money towards a project, but not towards everything they put that money would go for.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is in this paragraph.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting the mulch and stuff, but
That's what kids do as their community service or as part of their youth.
No, I don't think we give money for gifts to another organization.
No.
did you say that OMI itself gave a cost breakdown? I only see the one from.
I had a spreadsheet. And where does the Bet Aviv say $1,800, Jonathan?
Keep
Keep going
scrolling.
down.
Keep scrolling. Right there.
Oh, because this was the spreadsheet that they gave me, which I had to try to break down it. That came with the OMIC. This
Well,
wasn't Bet Aviv.
so- Stop moving the screen.
Okay.
Their grand total is $450 higher than what's in the OMI letter. That's why I wrote back and said, I'm really confused about this one. Are they asking for 1892 or are they asking for 1444?
1444.
And this
That
does
was in their
not,
letter.
this doesn't include any money for those snacks, pizza, et
Well,
cetera.
it does. It has 150 for refreshments.
Where, yeah, never mind. You're right.
And these little pot giveaways and paints and brushes.
Yeah, that's for the little craft activity for the kids while this is all going on.
So if we start from the 1444, I would say I'm comfortable giving them like 1,200 or 1,250 because that would be minus the refreshments and the giveaways. But I still don't understand whether we're starting from 1444 or 1892. I guess we should go with what they put in their letter. They put 1444 in their letter.
Yeah,
I agree, Jonathan. I mean, that's.
I agree.
I agree. And it's signed by,
By their building manager and the president of the Interfaith Center.
yeah,
Sure. If we look at all of our, what we've or have penciled in so far, I mean, is that going to be one of the highest things highest amounts that we're giving?
Yes, it would. So,
And I think that's something to think about. I mean, we've always in the past prioritized the schools.
What about a flat 1,000?
Well, wait a minute.
Hmm?
This is a one-shot deal for that amount, but the other group, there was one other on there that was 2,000, but it was given in 2 years.
No, no, we gave them 500 of the 2,000 and now we're spending, possibly giving them 750.
That's 1,250,
And they asked for,
2,000.
yeah, they asked for 2,000.
Yeah,
And
so
it serves the whole community.
Yeah, it's a different,
Yeah, this serves
Uh,
the. interface
yeah.
center.
Well, I think OMI is trying to serve the community. They want to reach out to the teen center and they want to get the local kids, they have a vision for including the whole community. I'm not sure it's well defined yet, but that is their vision.
yeah, I agree.
Great, it is a vision, but that's not what they're doing. So I think that, it's not what they're doing yet. So come back next year when you have a program to include the whole
Well,
community.
I think they do. Performed by volunteers, including youth. We expect, they will be working on that, and Yards Alive involved, and the teen center, I know they're going to involve. So you can't do it without the grant.
So, I mean,
Also-
they say if they receive less than the full amount, they'll reduce the size of the garden. So it's not that it won't happen. It's just the size of the garden is dependent upon the size of the grant because. of the
unless they're
spots.
not looking, they could look elsewhere too. I mean, we're not the only source of funding out there. There's other organizations that might want to give in-kind things too. I mean, I wouldn't think just because we're not giving the full amount they asked, they should immediately think we're going to reduce the size.
Well, also, they've got their own congregations, right?
Right, right.
Quick question about the location of this. Sandy, you're there every day. I think it also makes a difference. Is this garden visible from the village center
No,
or is it on the other side?
it looks like the other side. If they say the right-hand side, it's not. I mean, even the way it's set, it really is. It's not visible because it's up on a hill and it's set kind of at the end of where our village center is. So no, I mean,
Also, isn't it to expand the garden that's already there?
No, they have a rain garden there. I don't think they have.
no, the
a
rain gardens, yeah,
garden.
more in the parking lot, that side roadside.
Right, but there's another garden over on the side by where they have the playground area,
Oh.
right?
Yeah,
I don't look there.
Yeah.
all right. Well, we're just penciling in and we're well over time. So it looks like we're trying to decide between penciling 1,000 or 1,200, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
What I say we pencil 12. We can always pull it back as we get the other numbers firmer.
Yeah. Let's pencil 12 because then Sandy can, add up all the numbers we penciled and we see what it all looks like at the end. Plus we get our response back from Fab.
Want me
okay.
to add it up?
Not now.
Oh, okay.
No, we're gonna move on now, but you know what we penciled in, so you can send something out to us after the meeting.
Right, right.
Just real quick before we move on, or I can talk about it next week, but I messaged Amy Brooks about the OMO about the 2,000 if it because it said for a computer and I wanted to know if it was like an all or nothing, like, is the $500, it's not going to buy a computer, where else they're not getting funds from other places. And she says, yes, it's all to buy their main web developer who runs the show. Her computer died. And so nobody else can take over doing it. And it costs more than $2,000 to get her a computer. So 2,000 was their low end estimate. So I just wanted to throw that in there, that I know we already penciled in 750, but I think I'd be okay upping it to the full amount.
I'd be fine with that. I mean, I know what their plans are. Ultimately, what they'd like to do, this relates to another project we funded. Once that outdoor classroom is all finished at the high school, they're gonna hold events there and use some of this equipment so they can, basically what we're trying to do at the other barn, do hybrid events. So, they're gonna need not only a functioning laptop so they can, put links up on the website and stream them, but probably other things. So I know this would help them.
Oh, I penciled in. Does it want me to pencil in 1,500?
Yeah, go ahead. You've
Okay.
sold me. Jonathan and Rebecca have sold me on the 1,500.
All right, and then the last one is the FAB, Fine Arts Boosters. We're gonna ask them to prioritize their list. Now, just to go through it, just so we can get, oh my gosh, I'm looking at the messy copy. The highest ticket item on their list is costume and rentals for the fall play and spring musical next year, 5,000. And then the amounts go down from there, 2,500, 2,500, 2,400, 1,600, 1,500. So before we get their prioritization, do we want to set any kind of ceiling so that we can make a quicker decision in 2 weeks after we see the prioritization? For example, if we set a ceiling of, I'm just pulling this out of the air. If we were to set a ceiling of $5,000, if their top priority were the spring and fall plays, that would do it. If their top priorities were, the violins and then the dry cleaning of the band uniforms, that money would cover more than one of the items on their list. So that the prioritization tells us part of the story, but we still need to figure out how much we want to give.
5,000 is really pretty high. That's more than.
No, I just, Ginny, I made that up because that was the highest ticket item on their list.
No, I'm saying, no, I'm being positive about it. I'm saying.
Yeah.
5,000 is bloody good.
Yeah.
If we were able to afford 5,000, that's a first. That is the most we've ever given. And we've always been worried we're not giving them enough, et cetera. I think that
we gave more than that to the high school for the outdoor classroom.
Yeah.
It was spread over a couple of years, but I think the high school got a total of like 8,000 toward the outdoor classroom when you add up a couple of different donations over a few years.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so I think 5,000 is, wow, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to the plays there recently, but anyone else can probably speak to the condition of what the auditorium and all that. And so probably it would be very well spent, whatever their main needs are, even if it was 5,000.
Yeah, the auditorium itself is not worth investing another penny in. It needs to be gutted and redone, and hopefully it will be in a few years. So they're not even asking for equipment. Once upon a time, they did ask for things like lights and other stage stuff. I think they're not putting any more money into that auditorium pending renovation. So this is all like, costumes and things like that they need.
That the kids can't afford. I mean, they can't afford it. Cold honest truth.
They can't do a great program if they don't have costumes and
Yeah,
they aren't able to. What just my ignorance, what is a master clinician?
I don't know.
I was wondering too.
I can ask.
I think that's,
Oh, good.
I was gonna say, I think that's actually, where they bring in like experts to work with the students, like they'll bring in a master musician to work with the orchestra or something like that, or, someone who specializes in acting to help them prepare for the play. They bring in specialists.
Well, if we're going to ask questions about it in general for prioritizing, it would be nice to know for sure that's what it is. And so
Yeah, I put that down to ask.
5 people.
Google defines a master clinician as a doctor. So.
Right. No, I don't.
Well, a doctor of
Physicals and yeah, so we're going to do five master clinicians at $500 a person or something like that, so that we would know what that was.
Yeah, it's support to each program. So it's one for band, one for choir, one for dance, one for orchestra, one for theater arts.
Yeah.
So it probably is on average about $500 per.
I will be.
Even when I search master clinician in theater or arts, fine arts, it's just doctors. So maybe they meant something else, or maybe it has another meaning that is hidden by Google.
We will find out.
either way, I'm okay penciling 5,000 for that.
All right, let's pencil that and move on. Done. We will get a few answers and then we will revisit this and you know, just determine how many funds we're dispersing in 2 weeks. All right, that's the end of new business. Now on to old business, the watershed project in OM, and Bill put together a handy dandy spreadsheet for the watershed project. So some of us did get to take a tour.
Want me to get it, Jonathan?
You weren't unable to join us, but we took a tour of several sites with John McCoy. And, you know, he talked us through the sites and talked us through what we thought would, or what he thought could be done with the roughly $26,000 we turned back over to CA last year. That's, you know, coming back as a environmental project. So, you know, it's about time we made a decision and made our recommendation back to John about which project we think is of, you know, the most benefit to the Oakland Mills Village and the surrounding communities.
I
So they
vote
were,
Long Look Lane. Oh, sorry.
sorry, what was that, Rebecca?
I was just gonna say, I vote Long Look Lane.
Well, that's actually the one I would vote for too, but
I'm just cutting the to the chase.
Yeah, that's the one I would also vote for.
And for Warren, it was his second choice.
Mhm.
yeah, Warren liked Netherstone because of the proximity to the houses, and then Long Look after that to basically, you know, finish that up and protect what they've already done.
And my preference, number one, would be Netherstone Court, because all projects benefit the village in general. But Netherstone has the added extra of benefiting directly a few of our residents, keeping their backyards from flooding. And then it also has the added extra of the pathway, keeping ice off the pathway, which John McCoy said is a liability issue and a safety issue. So because of those two, I have the same position that Warren does. First Netherstone, and then second Long Look Lane to basically finish that project and protect what's already been done.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I preferred Long Look over Netherstone is as we were touring the Netherstone site, you know, we came across where some residents have sort of done their own thing on open space. And my only concern is if they put all that work in, will residents then go back and do their own thing so that they're, you know, the gates in their fence can reconnect to the path and all that fun stuff. I just wouldn't want to see that undone because part of the problem is because of what's been done there.
Right.
I mean, I like Netherstone because of that bill, because it directly affects those residents, but I'm looking at environmentally, the erosion in our streams is the biggest, costliest thing that's going to be facing us and CA for the foreseeable future. And I asked John directly about that, about Netherstone Court affecting the erosion, and it is farther upstream than Long Look, but because all that grass, and it's not quite as a direct erosion issue as Long Look Lane is. So that's, I guess, why I'm prioritizing that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the erosion situation around Long Look is really extreme, and what we can do to help mitigate it right now, I think, is important.
So it sounds like no one would be devastated whichever way we went. And I would strongly advise that we just go all in one way, because John's already told us that, you know, each of these would take approximately all the funds. I wouldn't want to do anything where we recommend partially funding one or the other, because then who knows if either will ever get done in our lifetimes. Any other thoughts on this? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we fund Long Look Lane.
Okay, is there a second to that? Okay, we have a second from Rebecca. Further discussion? Okay, all in favor of Long Look? Whoa, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all opposed? 1, okay, abstain? Jennifer, you out there? All right, looks like we're 3-1 long look.
Okay,
All right, I don't think there was a wrong choice there, so.
Mm-mm.
I will let John McCoy
we'll
know.
let John know, yeah. All right, very good. Okay, next up is the draft fiscal 23 budget, which has come back for our reconsideration after Sandy introduced it at the last meeting. Sandy, do you have any updates or anything you wanted to direct our attention to for the
I'm just pulling it up. Hold on one second. Am I muted?
No,
Oh,
Okay. Not that it mattered. I just
I
said,
hear you.
okay. No one's yelling at me for being muted, so I guess I'm not. I'm gonna tweak this again. The things I changed was I increased the salary line, and I'll tell you why and why I might actually increase it more. And I actually increased our rental income. Basically, our expense, our revenue is pretty much, we're going to make money on our room rentals. And I think that I underestimated a little. So I'm going to go back and look at our rentals coming up. So we'll vote on this at the end of April. So those are the only differences in the budget. And the reason I'm increasing our salaries is that I've recently hired actually 3 facility assistants to do our parties, and 2 women and 1 man. And I've decided that because they're new and because we have large, very late evening parties with a lot of alcohol involved, I will be having 2 of our new staff at an event rather than 1 person alone. I think it's a big safety issue for us. And so that'll increase our salaries, but it's important. I mean, as much as, we want to make as much money as we can, we want our staff, and I want to have the peace of mind that there's 2 in the building. Now, we have some guys who have been doing this for 10 years, and if they want another person with them, fine. If they don't, I'm fine with that too, because they have worked these parties for years. But for our new staff, when they're, in the building till 1:30 at night with 200 guests, I think it's what we're doing. So those were really the only 2 things. And as I said, I'm going to look at it all again and make sure. I had showed it to the accountant, and she had told me 2 places where I had, I corrected that before I even gave it to you. But I'll just go over it another time, a few times, and give it back to you at the April 26th meeting when we'll have to vote on it. But really, that just the salary expenses, and then that would tweak our payroll benefits, not the benefits, it'll tweak the taxes and the revenue, looking at our rental income. And that's about it.
So, Sandy, it always feels great to have money at the end of the year, do these donations and help people. But, the people who work for us are very important to our success. So I completely support, what you need to do to ensure that they're safe at late night events. The other thing I was going to ask you is, in terms of without going into the details of what everyone's paid, that would be a closed meeting. But, thinking about what we pay everyone and basically how inflation is, how tight the job market is right now, should we lose anyone, or how many opportunities there are elsewhere. Do you feel that we are competitive in terms of our pay rates, or do you need a little more to maybe increase some of our pay rates so that we?
Yeah, I'm going to look at that. I think that certain areas, and I have a close relationship with one or two village managers, and we're comfortable sharing, not names but salaries, because they have the same jobs that we do. So I'm going to try to see if, compared to a village like ours, if we're paying around the same rate, because we had a salary study done, but that was actually 6 years ago already. And as much as I've increased salaries over the time, I'm not sure that I increased them to keep up with the current inflation. So I will look at that, Jonathan, show it,
Okay.
not per person, but that might add to why we increase our salary line.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, given what the past couple of years had been like, even if that salary study had been done 3 years ago, it would be woefully out of date
Right.
already, based on what we've been seeing.
And
So,
it's easier to retain good staff than to lose them because of their salary when we
Right.
can tweak it a little to keep them. And I know other organizations are having that problem and losing very good people over $2 an hour, $3 an hour, but that's a lot when you work an hourly wage. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I will look at the salaries and the room rentals.
all right.
There's
Were
really
there-
nowhere else.
So, we had the draft budget for 3 weeks since our last meeting. Were there any other, the reason for bringing it back as old business today were to ensure that we could ask Sandy any questions we had, after having it presented to us and having it for 3 weeks. So if there are any other questions or comments, please raise them now. Otherwise, it will come back one more time as old business at the next meeting. And at the next meeting, we have to vote a budget in, or else the next fiscal year wouldn't start with a budget. So the next meeting is sort of the last chance. All
You know
right,
where to reach me. Okay.
we're ready
Thank
to move
you.
on. Thank you, Sandy.
Mhm.
Okay, one more item under old business, and that is a Yards Alive update from Rebecca.
Yes. So we had our cul-de-sac remodel. We don't really have a good name for it. I go back.
Makeover.
Makeover, sure. Cul-de-sac makeover request out for the past month, and we got 4 applicants. 2 from Thunder Hills, 2 from Stevens Forest. I sent you all an email, so I probably don't need to repeat all this. But we were really excited. Everybody who applied sounded really enthusiastic and excited about the idea. So we ultimately did pick Moongong Court, and we're in contact with them trying to arrange when we can meet and start the planning for that. So that'll be really cool. But what I wanted to ask you guys is, especially on the back of all this budget talk, and we probably can't decide tonight, but time is really important here because of the growing season. But I'd really love, it's only $250, and I'd love to be able to award the bowl also as part of our remodel project this year, our cul-de-sac makeover project. We have the volunteers to make it happen and the passion from the residents. We just, I can tell them to apply for the 75, the normal cul-de-sac money too. I just figured with a little extra in the budget, it would be really cool to ride on the backs of everybody's excitement.
Rebecca, where would that money come from? What are you thinking of it?
I have no idea.
It would come from our events, wouldn't it? Our events budget.
Cul-de-sac and block party, which we didn't fully use this year either.
Okay.
I, for one, because I've seen the heyday of the bowl when it was just a beautiful, beautiful street, and then it kind of had some challenges, and now when you drive down there now or walk down there through there, people are really pulling together, and you can always tell when a neighborhood, when a street has some love expended on it, and what they're doing at the bowl, obviously in Moongong as well, but also the bowl. So I'd like to kind of reward them. I mean, it was part of the original model park. That was when you came to Columbia to see if you wanted to move here. That was the street that you looked at.
Yeah, I agree, Lynn. The bowl, I would say 5 years ago was a bowl, and now there's a lot of care.
We live on the bowl. I just want to say, when we moved in, there were a lot.
Oh, we lost you.
Yeah.
I know.
There were 3 beautiful
You all hear me?
dogwoods there. Hi.
I've got an idea. Let's make this quick and easy. I motion that we expand the cul-de-sac makeover program by 1 cul-de-sac for $250 to the bowl, so we can do both the bowl and Moongong.
Second.
All right, we have a second from Bill. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0. There we go.
Awesome.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I may have just motioned over someone trying to talk, but everything just froze and went silent for a second. I don't know if you all could hear
Hey,
me. but
you
I
are trying to
apologize.
keep us on time tonight.
Well, that's nice. Thank you. And Rebecca, you'll work with me as far as how we're getting the money and all that to them.
Well, yeah, I'm just directing them to tell to you, like the regular cul-de-sac funds.
Okay, but let them know I can
Yep.
only reimburse with receipts.
Yes. Okay, we'll talk.
She's strict. Watch her. She
I
watches her
am.
money like a
Thank
hawk.
you again.
Our
Okay,
pleasure.
thank you.
All right, next up is, oh, it's me. It's the board chair report. Two things. As
We have
often-
2 minutes to spare. You're doing really well with time.
And
Just
Warren's
saying.
not even here to time us. I've been doing it. Two things. One is, as often happens as we're closing out a board year, the county council has released its schedule for capital budget testimony. And that will be April 19th. I was actually trying to sign up as this meeting started and the website wasn't cooperating with me. But if no one objects, I was going to sign up OMCA and deliver basically the same capital budget testimony we deliver to the county executive. We'll just replace county executive with county council, supporting the plan that includes the high school and the middle school. There's nothing in the fiscal 23 budget for us, but since they also consider the plan, we may as well continue to appear, because we will be appearing before them next year saying now funded in 24, at least when it comes to the middle school. Any objections or concerns to that? And I'll do what I always do. I'll do the light edits to the testimony and circulate it to everyone so you can see what it looks like. But it's almost literally going to be a find and replace, where I change, county executive to county council. It's the same thing. All right. The other thing I had is I talked to the owner of Pizza Man again about his struggles with the health department. And he said he thanked us very much for talking about this at our meeting and for extending the offer to help any way we could. But he had good news when I talked to him. Things actually started moving with the health department again. And it looks like he should be, cleared very shortly to open that second kitchen so he can start selling his Indian and Nepalese food. So we didn't have to do anything. At least I hope it stays that way. Next time I go in there, I'll follow up with him again to make sure it's still on track. But as of right now, he was a much happier camper than before the last meeting when I talked to him. So he said no action required right now, but he really appreciates that we were interested in it and that we were willing to help out if we could. And unless there are any questions for me, I believe that's all I had in the way of updates. All right, I'll send it over to Ginny.
Thanks, Jonathan. Actually, I'll save you the 10 minutes tonight. I really don't have anything more to report than what I've been talking about for the last 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. That's
Are you
it.
talking about something? I'm kidding.
Yeah. Unless anybody has a question for me or a concern, that's it.
Would you
If
mind
anybody
recapping the
wants-
last
by
9
the way,
months?
If anybody wants the contracts for the new restaurant going into the Lakeside or the what happened at Symphony Woods, the way CA is handling it, you have to write to the general counsel and ask for copies of those. I would suggest that if you want the lakefront contract, you also ask for the former Clyde's contract so you can compare the two. I was hoping they'd all be on a website, but that's not going to happen. So you have to ask. Ask and you shall receive.
Okay.
And
Next
then
thing you know,
if you
there will be a
have any
FOIA process.
And if you have any comments, please let me know.
All right, thank you, Ginny.
You
All
will.
right,
I
Sandy.
think 7 minutes, okay.
Okay, so I don't have much. The CA is paving the lot that they own behind Duncan and the police parking lot. They had to take out some old trees that were really where they're paving growing into the sidewalk. So that's a big project, all new curbing and paving back there. And then our side of the side lot, and the back of the other barn. They're doing that, and they're doing a new handicap entrance ramp into the building and rearranging the front sidewalk. It's all work that really needed to be done. So it's happening now and probably will happen throughout the month. So if you come to visit us, just park in front of Duncan until you see that the work is done. And another thing, I had read about CA asking villages where they might want the e-scooter parking. So I wrote to Jessica Bella at CA and I said, we'd been asking the CA board about e-scooters and we hadn't heard whether Oakland Mills was part of it. And she said, I'm sorry that, we didn't let you know, but yes, they have extended the e-scooter operating zone on CA pathways to mirror operating zones outlined in the county's permit. Anyway, she said this includes Oakland Mills. So that will happen. And because they took out the bike share, I think that's probably a very nice place if they want to have e-scooter parking just to go right there. And hopefully they'll do the same at Bland Air because they took out bike share parking there as well. So that will happen in Oakland Mills. So that is very good. And 3 months of looking for applicants literally every day, a few times a day. I did hire 3 individuals, very eager. 2 of them have started already training with Mark and Brandon. And we start our events pretty much every weekend beginning middle of May. And so they'll just train for about 3 parties each with them and then work in pairs. So I'm very happy about that. And since we had 3 good ones, I hired 3 because in the end, we don't know who will stay and who will not stay. And so I'd rather have more people than less. So that was good. And we're closed on Friday, just so you know, for Good Friday. And the high school AP testing is in our building every year. We give them our space. They just cover our staffing hours early morning and set up by Judd and breakdown. So that'll be May, the first 2 weeks in May, pretty much all day, every day, except for like Friday, the 6th and maybe one other day. So the kids are there from 7 in the morning to like 3 or 3:30 at night. So we'll be doing that. Really helps the high school. And that's it. Jenny?
Yeah, Sandy, I apologize. I thought I had sent the email a month ago to everybody about the expansion into Oakland Mills on the e-scooters, but I'm wondering, I was talking to Warren and maybe I only sent it to Warren. So
Okay, that's no problem.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions for Sandy? All right, thank you, Sandy. Moving right along, we are up to the committee reports. Lynn, do you have anything architecture?
A couple of things, just that now that it's warm weather, we're getting more and more applications for external renovations. So it's kind of ramping up the time commitment involved in going out and looking at properties and making the decisions about them. But by and large, really pleased with the quality of the applications we're getting and the thought that is going into them by our residents. And it's looking forward to seeing some good stuff in Oakland Mills. And this is not strictly architecture, but because of the whole thing we've been talking about with tot lots, I've been doing some field trips here and there to see examples of what other playgrounds are like and what other communities are doing. And I sent out something today that you all can take a look at. It's just an example of a really creative use of dead trees. So just to take a look at that and see what it is. Kind of low cost, low maintenance, very imaginative, very creative. And just a little bit of inspiration of what we might be looking at. So that's in your inbox.
Yep, it was great.
It's really neat.
Yeah, Jenny?
Yeah, Lynn, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I got home. late.
I sent it late this afternoon.
Where is this tot lot?
It's in a town called, and this, it says, you know, if they can do it in this little town, it's called Halfway, Maryland, and it's on the way to somewhere. I mean, as you go up 70 and past Hagerstown, I mean, it's really tiny little town.
It's
And
halfway to somewhere.
yeah, halfway to somewhere, right? And it was done this beautiful thing. It was done for like $60,000.
I was talking to Eric, the CA rep, the new CA rep from River Hill, and telling about your ideas, Bill's ideas, and how frustrated I was. And he is also. So do you mind if I share that with him? Because
Oh, absolutely. No,
he
sure.
totally agrees with everything we've been saying, you know. Let's find out what kids will use just for the heck of it. Yeah.
So the day that I was there, which is, you know, pre my COVID experience, I got there in the middle of, you know, early afternoon, I guess. So that was great in terms of taking photos because there weren't many people around. It was only a few kids. But then walking through the whole park area and coming back out, by the time we got back out, the place was swarming with kids because they can climb over everything. The things are made so they can climb, they can jump, they can, you know, it's free play. So, which is what we want to encourage.
This is off 70. How far away?
I think it took about
Before Hagerstown,
an
after?
hour and a half. It's past Frederick.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, take a look at it.
Lynn, I got another quick question. If an HOA is not enforcing a covenant, not a covenant that's we care, I mean, we think should be enforced. They may have some above that level that's their problem. But if they're not doing it, do we step in to do something?
That's a Sandy question.
Oh,
Yeah, more than.
But we do, I mean, we do,
Sandy, you're muted.
I know, we review applications from HOAs. And there's some HOAs that don't even have an architecture committee. So they come to us.
no, I don't mean applications. I'm talking about violations.
Anna, I would
recently,
say,
yeah.
like, one community wanted us to go through every house and all that. We don't have the staffing. We don't have the manpower to go do a property standards of a whole community, but on a case by case, house by house, we can look at violations.
Yeah, also remember that we're a complaint-based
Right.
system, so we don't go out and survey.
No, I meant exactly that, a complaint that if an HOA isn't enforcing a problem and people are complaining about something that's actually in the public view. Okay, so we will handle that.
Mhm. As long as it's something that is also something that is within our purview. So some things that are, you know, like on CA property or on county property or whatever, we have problems where there's stuff that's kind of, we had this like last year where, and this wasn't an HOA, but things were dumped, but they were dumped at the corner of an intersection, and there was no real way to tell who was doing it unless you kind of camped out there and, you know, or did a trip camera to see who was hauling stuff in the night. And so, you know, we, you know, aside from kind of, you know, the property survey sort of thing that we've talked about years ago about doing property standard surveys, which I'm in favor of actually, because I don't like the complaint-based system. I think having neighbors kind of squeal on their fellow neighbors, it kind of discourages people from doing it at all. But in any case, you know, we do go back and look at violations, but the first order of taking care of an HOA is the HOA itself, HOA properties.
Okay, but if they don't do it, okay, I get it. Thanks.
Yeah. Is that fair, Sandy? Did I represent that pretty well?
Yeah, and we can do things within our bounds.
Within our scope.
I think we are, I mean, I think we also have to be careful, you know, distinguishing between the other HOA won't do anything versus is struggling to do something, because I know of
Right.
some situations where the sub HOA is working on it, but like us, they have to go through a process, and when you're the one
Exactly.
staring at the mess, you're not satisfied with them going through that process.
Yeah,
So,
and we can't magically make it go away. We can't, I mean, things take forever, even going through our process. And people don't think that we're doing anything when we're doing everything we can. So that's a frustration, because you can't look at a problem and think that the HOA isn't doing anything, or that we're Oakland Mills, because in many cases, everyone's trying to do something. We just haven't been successful, and we can't physically go and remove a problem. Right, Lynn?
Yeah, exactly. Also, I mean, it's frustrating, but it also serves the purpose in that it protects neighbors, against any kind of a neighborhood vendetta against a certain neighbor. I mean, you can get ugly in neighborhoods, and so our process slows things down to the point, and it's objective enough that I think we avoid that.
Yeah. Thank you.
speaking of which, did you get my weekly complaint on Ginny's house? I'm
I'm
kidding. I'm
I have it
kidding.
right here. I have it on.
I'd like to come over and discuss that. I'll be
All
right
right.
over.
Anything else architecture, Lynn?
No, nothing more, thanks.
Okay. All right. Well, we have made our way to the bulletin board, so I'm just going to start that. Amy, do you have anything?
No, I just need a nap. That's all.
Okay. Well, we're going to get you out of here early so that you can have your nap.
Go for it, Amy, go for it.
Rebecca,
I think
anything
at
from
night
you?
it's called just go to bed.
Nope.
Okay. Jennifer? Lynn?
No,
Bill?
Yes, on the issue that we had in the past of timing of meetings, and Amy sent out the data on all the meetings in this board year. The data, if I remember correctly, said the average stop time was 8:57, that half the meetings stopped before 9 and half stopped after 9. The latest meeting was 9:30, 2 were at 9:45, and I think one was not one at 9:30, the latest, 2 at 9:25, and 1 at 9:24. So to me, all those stats say, Jonathan, you've been doing a very good job in running the meetings, and I don't see that we have any timing problem. If the meetings had been average stop time of 9:30, some have gone to 10, then I'd say we really need to deal with this issue. But based on the data that Amy gave us, I don't see that there's any issue in the timing of the meetings.
Bill, thanks for bringing that up. I totally forgot about that.
Well, I was watching the times on this one anyway, just to make sure, because I know Warren volunteered and he wasn't here. So, yeah, I mean, I think if we all just agree to stay on track, or agree that, when someone says, okay, time's up, we need to decide now and move on, I think we can keep all of these very manageable.
I'd hate to close the book when Warren's not here, because I know he feels strongly about it. So maybe we can talk about it at Old Business next week. Next time.
Hadn't we talked about it? We just said we're going to try to time it, and Jonathan's kind of done that
Yeah,
tonight.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, what Warren was going to do it tonight, and with him not here, I just decided I would do it. See if,
Yeah, doesn't mean we won't do it again. We'll just.
Yeah.
Guys, there is one approach you could consider. I missed that meeting where you discussed all this, but it sounds to me like you're saying like this item on the agenda will take 10 minutes. And you kept saying that, Jonathan, like if we're going to go over, we only have, we can't do that. But you could say if a majority of the board are willing to go over another 5 minutes, say, or 10 minutes, you set the time. If a majority vote to do it, okay. If not, it's over.
Yeah.
Discussion finished, But you also have to then, each board member has to not take the entire 10 minutes to discuss that item. You might have to limit board members to like 2 minutes, 3 minutes per turn. That's another way of handling it. That's how we're trying to do the CA board. But I'm not saying that's the best approach, but okay.
All right, who did I miss? Sandy.
Yeah, we have a shred truck, a free shred truck for Oakland Mills residents on April 23rd from 8:30 to 11:30. If our parking lot's not done by then, I'm gonna ask Pizza Man if we can do it in his lot, and people can pull in one end and then go out the other end. So I think that will work nice. So there'll be signs. I just won't know right now where it is, but it'll either be our lot or hopefully Pizza Man lot or even the Dunkin' lot, because that might be done before they do us. So that's on the 23rd.
All right, thanks,
And,
Sandy.
That's it.
All right, just real quick, if you hadn't seen the news, we have another Howard County Principal of the Year here locally. So Dr. Fink at Oakland Mills is this year's Principal of the Year. So out of what, 77 schools in the system, we've had, I think, 2 of the past 4 Principals of the Year, because Nancy Thompson won it 3 or 4 years ago. So we're doing pretty well around here.
That's great.
And
Just don't let him leave.
and yeah, we won't let him leave. I mean, unless he gets promoted or something, but no,
Right.
he can't just be transferred anywhere. There's no way.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to drag him out kicking and screaming anyway,
Uh-huh.
but no, congratulations to him.
Right.
And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good
thanks
night.
again.
Our